Here's exactly how to make your first $10,000 online using AI. This is coming from somebody who has actually scaled their own AI agency to over $10,000 a month and now runs a community teaching others how to do the same. So today I first want to cover a couple of misconceptions about AI automation, starting an AI agency, things like that. I want to talk about why AI automation certainly isn't dead, and this is absolutely a path that you can take. And then the 4 methods that I use to book high value clients. I'm going to go through all 4 methods. I'm going to give you the pros and cons along with some of my thoughts along the way, depending on whether you're a beginner or you're more advanced, how you can actually start booking high value clients and be on your way to earning $10,000 with AI. So here are a couple things that I think you should be thinking about. And one is that technical skills only get you so far. And so I think there's this common misconception out there that because things are AI or they're automation, that they're just easy. And the truth is that they are far from easy, that people think that these systems are kind of like out of the box ready. You can like download an N8N workflow or a Mic.com workflow and the thing just works, and you can package it up. You can get on a sales call with a potential client and you can sell it to them and you can make some money easy. Like, this is not passive income. These tools actually take a long time to learn. There's a lot of nuance to them. Building something for yourself is very different from a client. And so what I see is a lot of communities and a lot of these like AI gurus out there basically telling you like all you need is to know how to build this workflow. But then what ends up happening is that, you actually get in front of a real client, or they teach you how to go out there and like find a client, but then you get in front of the client and you're not comfortable selling to them. You don't know how to customize it when they say this thing is great, but I actually wanted to do these 3 other things. And then you have this very kind of like justified imposter syndrome, I'm calling it, because you actually don't know how to execute on what they're asking you to do. So just having the technical skills alone is not going to cover everything. There's a lot more to it. Number 2 is passive income is totally a myth. Like, having these systems run, setting them up to run and just kind of collect income for you is not going to happen. Again, like, you need to know how to set these up. You need to know how to connect with your client. You need to know how to build a relationship. If you want to make the most money, like long-term maintenance fees or retainer fees is the way to go. And in order to do that, you actually need to understand what you're talking about. You need to actually have calls with your client. You actually need to build systems for them that work. And so again, just having this thing kind of like set up to run is not, really a reality. Number 3, the market is getting saturated. AI automation is super, super popular right now. I'd say it's trending pretty much everywhere. And what's happening is, I'm going to use a big word, but basically AI automation experts are becoming commoditized. And what this means is that everybody is using the same tactics to find clients. I'm going to go over some of those today because they work. They work to find clients. We'll talk about those for sure. They're using the same tactics to find clients. They're using the same scripts and applications to kind of apply to these jobs. And they're essentially like offering the same services. And so what's happening is clients are looking at all these applications and they're basically just saying like, well, this one's the cheapest. These all look the same otherwise. I'm just going to go for the one that costs the least. So for you, if you're trying to, make the most money out of this, like competing with everyone else is actually not going to do you any favors. And so what you want to do is you want to figure out how you can differentiate yourself from everyone else. And that's something I talk about heavily inside of the community, is how to be different, how to figure out who you are, what you're interested in, what industry you want to focus in. And that doesn't mean you're stuck there forever. You can start, with one niche and expand from there. But having a clear differentiator is how you're going to be able to charge the most money. Number 4 is real automations solve real problems. Basically, what this means is there are a lot of people who position themselves as an automation expert, or they sell like a tool, or they sell a tactic or something like that. Like, oh, like this automation can post to your social media account. Like, that's great, but that's not actually solving a problem for everyone, right? You want to say, oh, this automation saves you 10 hours a week, doing content research, or this automation makes you X amount of dollars by booking this amount of sales calls for you, right? So you want to make sure just in how you're positioning your systems to your potential clients that you're actually solving a problem that they have. You're not just making something because you think it's cool, like you're actually solving a direct problem that your client or hopefully an entire industry might be facing. Because really, like, word of mouth and referrals, I don't even think I talk about this, I don't have this down on the list, but like word of mouth referrals are incredibly powerful. So if you work with a client in a certain industry, like say like real estate or something, and your system works for them, they will refer you to their friends and so on and so on. So that is an incredible resource for you. Build systems that work, that solve real problems, and then get that word of mouth marketing. There's another concept I want to talk about: inbound versus outbound marketing. I teach both of these things inside the community. They're very different, and I think they serve very different purposes. So outbound marketing is something, basically, the words make sense. You're doing outreach, right? So you're either finding jobs, scraping job websites, like going to like Fiverr or Upwork or something like that and applying for the jobs, or you're doing some sort of outreach either on social media or on LinkedIn or wherever your audience might be, right? And you are constantly going out and you are gathering these new leads. And when you are just getting started, like, this is a really, really powerful powerful method to book your first clients because you haven't established that credibility yet. And I think that's, a really great way to go, especially when you're early on. The problem with outbound marketing that I see is that basically it becomes like a second full-time job. So if you are constantly working on your clients' projects and you're also constantly having to look for new work, you're basically running two full-time jobs at the same time. And this becomes really unwieldy and kind of hard to manage. It's also a lot of work. It's not the most fun or sexy work. And so again, like it's a great way to get your first clients, but over time, I tend to push people to moving to this inbound marketing method because I think it's more powerful. And once you're able to actually attract the right audience to you, you actually build stronger relationships because you have more in common. You're able to charge a premium price because you've solved these problems before and like you're now an expert. They know you're good and you know you're good. And so you can charge more. And so I think inbound in the end actually becomes more powerful. But if you're just trying to make, your first $10,000 and you're new, like outbound marketing is, the way to go. So with that being said, let's get into the 4 methods I use to book work and how if you're starting an AI automation agency, you can start finding clients for yourself. I'm going to talk about the pros and cons. I'm going to show you some examples and we're going to go through it. So I mentioned this before. This is outbound marketing or outbound lead generation, Upwork. If you're new to AI automation, there's a couple reasons why Upwork is great. So one, there's fast cash flow and business validation. And so what this means is that you're basically looking at these jobs and like the clients have identified what problems they have. Like you don't need to do that type of research. They're telling you like, I need a system that does this. And there's some money already, like the budget is listed out. You don't have any confusion about that. It's a quick way to get some quick wins and get some automations under your belt. The other great thing about it is you are developing your skill development through paid practice. You are learning as you go. You're building these systems. You're learning how to build more optimized systems, more efficient systems, and you're getting paid to learn. I would never argue with that. Something else that's great is market research and niche discovery. Like I talked about is you want to niche down in the beginning, but you may not know what you're interested in or what niche you want to focus in or what kind of like your natural skill set or tendencies, kind of like where those fit in. And so if you just kind of go through Upwork and you start to see what kind of jobs are available, then you can maybe start to get a sense of like your own personal feelings and vibes. And you say, oh, those really interest me. And long term, I highly recommend that you work on projects that actually interest you because otherwise you're going to burn out super quick. I think most of us have gotten into this AI automation space because we don't want the 9 to 5 like corporate job hustle. And a big problem with the corporate job hustle is that you are spending all day working on projects that you don't care about. So if you're able to kind of identify what you do care about and then target your research towards that, you're going to be a lot happier and fulfilled in the long run. And you're not going to feel the same burnout that you would feel from like a 9 to 5 job. And the last one here is professional development. And so Upwork is great because you're actually putting yourself in front of real clients. And like I said, technical skills are not enough. Like, yeah, it's cool if you can build these systems, but like you have to know how to apply for a job, how to have a discovery call where you like actually talk to the client, learn about them, learn about their business. You have to know how to put a proposal together, sell them on the proposal, like book the clients, onboard your clients, build the system for them, and then hand off and deliver. And so you really start to understand the full process by actually booking these clients at first. Okay, so if we just go into Upwork, I did a little search for automation up here just to see what jobs are available. And you can kind of scroll through just to get a sense of the market, right? Google Sheets, database development, expert needed, okay? AI-powered workflow automation specialist. They're paying $600, right? They're looking for a freelancer to help them automate and enhance our meeting documentation workflow using Grain AI, Notion, and AI tools. Okay, do you know about these things? You could apply for this job, right? They want an N8N workflow designer for LinkedIn outreach automation, okay? This is something I definitely teach in the community. They want someone to design this automation. They're paying an hourly rate. So you can start to get a sense of what types of projects, what types of budgets, that people are hiring for via Upwork, and you can start learning how to apply for these jobs. You can also come in here. It's great because they have filters. So I would recommend pricing high, of course, I'm going to click 5K. I don't want to work on a job, that's not going to pay. This is a $10,000 project. So if you feel confident building marketing automation software, this is a great job for you to apply to. So Upwork is a great place to get a sense of the market, what types of jobs people are interested in, what types of problems they're solving or that you can solve for them, basically what the kind of budgets for all this stuff are. Some of the cons is this race to the bottom pricing. This is what I talked about, right? So if everybody is on Upwork and you have 100 people applying for the same jobs, maybe they narrow it down to 3 applications that all kind of qualify. They're likely just going to pick the one, with the cheapest price, right? And so you're kind of competing against everyone else for the same jobs. So I think, that's one of the challenges. You also run into issue with the quality of the jobs. We looked at it. Some jobs are offering to pay you $15 an hour. I highly don't recommend you work for $15 an hour. Your services are worth a lot more than that. If you're able to position yourself as someone who solves real problems for your clients, start thinking about value-based pricing, not hourly or project-based pricing, which is pretty much what Upwork is based off of, right? right? And so what I mean by value-based pricing is it's like you say, okay, I'm creating a social media automation for you. I'll use the same example. This is going to save you 10 hours a week. And right now you're paying somebody $50 an hour to do the same, right? And so I'm saving you $500 a week by creating this automation. So maybe instead of you paying, $2,000 a month, okay, I'll charge you $1,200 a month. I'll build this automation for you once. You pay me $1,200 a month until you stop using it or whatever, right? And we'll improve it over time. You'll pay me an additional monthly retainer to help you improve it. You'll pay me a couple $100 to do maintenance on it if anything happens. And so you can see when you start thinking about the actual value you're providing to your clients, how much more money you can start to charge. There are some positioning challenges too, which basically just means that if you're kind of like, applying and working on every type of project, you're not really establishing yourself as an expert in any one field. You're not differentiating yourself from anyone else. You're kind of just like an automations guy or gal. And again, like you're not able to charge the, kind of premium rates if you're not super, super focused. Also, time and energy investment. Like it takes a lot of work to look for jobs and apply to jobs and make videos. I have some, modules in my community about how to specifically do this, along with like all the word for word scripts that you can use to kind of help with the process. But there is a ton of work involved. So it does take your time to find jobs this way. And this is something I talked about again, justified imposter syndrome. I've been in a lot of communities where it's like, okay, like here's how you book clients, here's how to apply for an Upwork job. And that's great. But then, like I said, what ends up happening is you get these jobs, you get the clients on the phone and you're like totally lost. You're like, man, like I don't actually know if I can like fulfill like my promise to this client. I don't know if I can build the thing that they need. I don't know if I can sell them. I don't know if I can like build this relationship. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm not confident. And honestly, it's justified. Like if you're new and you haven't built stuff before, it's like you should feel this way. And so you want to be able to deliver for your client. And so this is one of the challenges with just straight up applying to jobs on Upwork without learning first. That being said, if you are just starting out, Upwork literally has a list of paid projects for you. So if you want to make some money, if you want to learn how to build things, Upwork is a really, really great place to get started. The next method I want to talk about is cold outreach. This has a lot of similarities to kind of some of the Upwork things that we just talked about. This is also a form of outbound lead generation, right? Some of the pros, you have direct control and you can take immediate action. So basically you can get started, you can figure out who you're interested in targeting, what kind of niche you're in, and basically you kind of reach out to them and this person can take immediate action. If they like what you're selling, they can book a call, you can start to pitch them right away. You don't have to apply for anything. Like it's easy enough to find people, right? What's great is you can pre-qualify people and you can actually target people, right? If you're using like LinkedIn, like Sales Navigator or something like that to do research, basically you can identify like which industry you want to work in. You can target like a high level decision maker, like a CEO or a founder or director level person. You can target companies of a certain size. And so like it's really easy for you to kind of figure out who your audience is and go just directly after them, go straight to the source without having to look through, 100 sort of like Upwork listings to find one that actually vibes with you. Cold outreach is also great for relationship building and consultation positioning. And basically what this means is that like, because you have reached out to this person and it's kind of like everything else, right? There are like conversion rates that apply. Like if you send 300, messages to people, like you may hear back from 3 of them, right? And like, if you do, like you should feel pretty good about that. But odds are that the people who respond to you, like they are already interested. They've qualified themselves. They want to work with you. They see some sort of synergy or some sort of connection. You're able to more easily establish a relationship with them because they've already determined that it might be a good fit for you to work with them. And because of this, you're able to position yourself sort of however you want. If you want to kind of position yourself as an expert or a consultant, you're able to do that. And when you're able to do that, you're actually able to charge higher rates. This is also great for professional development. This is similar to Upwork in the sense that you are really interacting with and engaging with clients. They're going to be new to you. You're kind of going to learn the process. The process is different than applying to a job on Upwork, right? This is like a more direct relationship. And so you're going to have to learn kind of like a little bit more nuance to how to take someone from a DM message to get them to book a call to then actually like generate a proposal and sign off and actually get to work building the thing. So again, more professional development. And so if you are new to automation, again, cold outreach is really great. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to learn kind of like what's working, right? You'll start kind of like getting a sense for which messages kind of work when you do outreach to people, and you can kind of optimize your systems over time. So some of the cons, the rejection rates are really high. Like I said, if 3 people out of 300 book with you, what is that, 1%? Like that is a super, super low. So 99% of the time, you're going to hear people telling you no. So if you can't handle rejection, you're going to have a really hard time with this. So just be prepared to hear no a lot, be prepared to be, ghosted, or not hear back from anyone. And that's just kind of the way this goes. But again, the people that you do hear back from will actually likely be better clients in the long term. This is a time-intensive process for research and personalization. I do offer some automations inside the community that really kind of help this, which kind of does the research for you and personalizes message based off of, the person's job description, based off where they work, based off the company info and things like that. But if you're just doing this manually, like, running LinkedIn Sales Navigator searches or things like that, and then going through and finding potential clients, like again, you can see how this becomes cumbersome really, really quickly. Same issue applies, market saturation and competition. Like like if you're on LinkedIn or anywhere at all, like you probably get DMs all the time. Like people don't want to be sold to. And so if you're just reaching out to them because you are trying to sell them something, again, odds are that you're not going to hear back from them. And so I offer some word for word scripts about how you can reach out to these people in like a really like casual, conversational, like natural way. Like don't keep it too long. Don't really talk about what you're selling yet. Like talk them up, give them a compliment, things like that. And you're more likely to hear back. But again, like they're getting hit up all the time with products or services being offered. And so, it gets really overwhelming. Conversion and quality challenges. Like you can reach out to these people. They can seem good on paper. You actually don't know what you're going to get. And so, there's some challenges in terms of quality. It's like really like a crapshoot. And then actually converting them, maybe they're interested in what you're selling and you send them like a little pitch video or something like that. And they're kind of like, no, I'm not that interested, right? So cold outreach definitely has its challenges. I think for me personally, I don't love outbound marketing, but if you're new to AI automation and you just want clients in the door and you want to start making some money right away, cold outreach is a great way to do it. It is time intensive and process intensive upfront, but eventually like you will book clients and you will get projects. You do want to make sure that you're comfortable and confident in executing, that you can actually build the thing that you say that you're going to build for them. But if you're able to do that, you can start making money on day one, no problem. So now we're moving away from kind of outbound marketing to inbound marketing, and Reddit is an excellent resource for you. There's a couple of different ways. There's basically two ways that I like to look at Reddit, and one is for research and two is for like expert positioning and authority building. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So one is research. Like you can literally go into any Reddit or subreddit. Like I just picked this one that's like real estate investing, and like it will tell you the problems people are having. But then like if you start scrolling down, you can start to see some things. Okay, she liquidate 50% of holdings. And then it basically gives you this person owns 4 single family homes, if she sold 2 rentals, et cetera, et cetera. And so I can start thinking like for me, I'm like, is this like an automated process? Like if somebody were to fill out like what their holdings are and what their goals are, like could I create a little automation that would analyze their personal scenario and like come up with an answer for them of like what she should liquidate or how she should proceed forward? Then anyone who owns real estate like might actually be interested in using a service like that. And so like maybe I would like, take a screenshot of this and save this somewhere and kind of like take some notes on like, okay, maybe that's something like I could automate too, right? This one, did I find a good deal? This to me in real estate, like if you can automate this, this is a huge win, right? Okay, here's the deal, like put in the terms of the deal. Can I like find some comparative data somewhere? Like can I scrape Zillow to figure out where this is? So you're starting to get ideas of like what problems people in this industry are having. And if you haven't created automations before and you're kind of like scared of that imposter syndrome, like it is a really great place to start doing this like market research and ideation. And you can actually just start building automations like for free. Like I started like building automations just for myself because I had my own problems that I wanted to solve, but you could actually do this like in a community like Reddit, and like you wouldn't be getting paid for it, but you would be learning, and you'd be learning how to solve a real problem. And then when you're done, respond to that post and say like, hey, like I saw you had this problem. Like I just built this cool automation that solves it for you, right? Like, is that something you're interested in? So again, you're starting to like learn how to talk to clients. You're starting to learn how to build systems that solve real problems. And you're kind of both using Reddit for research and then establishing yourself as an expert. Because if people see you, solve the problem for them, they'll be like, whoa, this person knows what they're talking about. Like, who are they? That's when you start getting that interest. That's when you actually start booking higher value clients because they really, really, truly want what it is that you have to offer. Reddit is great. It is risk-free skill development. That little scenario that I just talked about, it costs you nothing. Yeah, it costs you some time, but like you don't have to be worried about making the client unhappy or like leaving them unfulfilled and like trying to ask them for money, but like you didn't deliver on the thing. And so, there is no risk. And if you get partway through and you're like, you know what, I'm not quite ready to tackle this thing, move on to the next one, right? You didn't leave anyone feeling like you came up short. Reddit, super great, niche market access. Like I showed you, like I just went to the real estate investing subreddit, but there are so many subreddits out there. You can pick an industry that you are personally interested in, go in there, solve a problem for them. Super easy. Authentic relationship building. This one's cool, right? Like I said, if you start posting in like a community like frequently, you'll start to develop relationships with people. You'll start to be seen as an expert, and then they'll may come to you when they actually have a problem that they want to solve. Maybe some industries haven't thought about automation before, but if they start seeing you post about it, maybe like when they're going about their day-to-day, they start thinking like, man, like, it'd be cool if like I had an automation for, finding these real estate investment opportunities. And I think I saw a guy posting like about automation for real estate. Like, should I hit that person up? So it's a great way to build relationships, be in the DMs, respond to comments, things like that. It's super low pressure. The internet is the internet. Like you're going to have trolls, you're going to have haters, but like, I always say if you have haters, you've made it. And so, it's really easy to just show up and make a little post and like not really worry about the results. And that being said, like I just gave that example, you can totally attract high quality clients with this coming from Reddit. If they want what you have, they will find you. One other cool tool that I really like is this platform called Gummy Search. And if you go to gummysearch.com, you can actually build these little groupings of subreddits that will basically show you, what all those different audiences are talking about. And it's pretty cool because if I like just go into automation, you have to pay for some of these, but if you go into like hot discussions or top content, you actually don't have to pay for these features, and you can just basically go to browse all, and this will just show you like all of the like, hottest, most popular discussions from the past week, or top content is best performing content of the past month from like a bunch of different subreddits together. So you can actually start to go through here, which is kind of just like an easier way to look for things to kind of find ideas for your automations. Some of the cons of Reddit we talked about, it's unpaid labor. Like if you're going to be solving a problem for people, they're not paying you, you're just building this to learn. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that's how a lot of people should start. But again, you're not getting paid. And if you just want your, quickest path to $10,000, like that's definitely not it, unless you're really able to productize a solution and then go and sell it to them. But people on Reddit hate being sold to, so I don't recommend that. Like I said, there's an anti-sales culture and moderation challenges. So if you're basically on there pitching people and trying to sell something to people, the mods will shut that down really, really quickly. And like you will get a lot of hate in the comments. I went in one day and I posted what I thought was a really valuable post. And then I told people that I had started a community, and I got a lot of hate for it, for like selling myself, even though I was like, yeah, like, of course, like I'm trying to like get people to the community, but that was not my main intention. And so just be like really careful about how you show up on Reddit, for sure. It's also a long-term investment, right? And there are no guaranteed returns. So if you're showing up every day, you're finding a problem, you're solving a problem, you're building like a workflow and automation that creates a solution, that's really great. But there's no guarantee that anybody's going to want to work with you or offer to buy something from you or hire you, right? And so you are spending a lot of time. Again, it's a great way to learn how to diagnose a problem, which you're going to do on every single client call that you have. What are your challenges? What are your goals? What's your biggest pain point right now, right? You can do that just by looking at Reddit, but there's no guarantee that you're going to get a return, like at least a monetary return on your investment. And again, same thing to justified imposter syndrome, which actually I think this is just leftover from another one. So I'm going to cross this out. I actually don't think this applies here, but I just gave you like a little example post, right? Here's a common problem found. I lost leads because I forgot to follow up, which is great. So I built a simple automation that does what, right? Like an automatic follow-up thing for my leads, right? It basically takes down like the time that I last wrote to them. And then maybe if I haven't said anything to them in a week, it sends like an automatic follow-up message or whatever. And if I make a little Reddit post on that, like I get the market validation, there are upvotes, there are comments. If anyone's DMing me, asking me for more details, it's like, oh, like there's like a real interest for this, right? And basically if I can do that, I can turn the solution into something productized, and then I can go ahead and say, hey, I built a solution for this if you want to check it out. Social media is another example of inbound marketing, and I love social media. It is what I am doing by making this video right now for YouTube. I will tell you, this is my personal favorite way to market. For me, for my agency, 100% of my clients have come from social media, all been inbound marketing. I have done no outreach, no cold outreach of any kind. Everybody finds me on social media and then messages me to work with them. Is by far my favorite way to work. It is hard to do if you haven't built systems before, if you haven't established credibility, if you don't have case studies, if you don't have a track record. Like starting with social media to get clients can be really challenging, although I teach a lot of this in the community about how you can start to build your presence just by kind of establishing yourself as a real person who is learning skills to solve real problems. We are very much in the vibe marketing era. And so if you are able to kind of document your journey consistently over time, like you are going to form a connection with people. They're going to be invested in you. They're going to want to see you succeed. They're going to be interested in your journey. There's a lot of people interested in AI and automation right now. And if they can watch you build something, they're going to be super motivated to either build something themselves, or they're going to want to support you in your journey. So social media is really, really powerful. So I recommend documenting everything you do. Make a post, like find a platform that you really like, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, they all have their pros and cons. Each platform operates differently. Start posting, figure out which one works for you, document your journey, and start seeing the type of response that you get. Consistency is the biggest key for any social media platform. Tell people that I've grown my TikTok account to like 65,000 followers or something like that. I posted 1 to 3 times a day for 3 months before I started seeing any traction. And so it's like anything else. You're going to have your average for views. There's going to be some videos that totally underperform. And then you'll have like the viral hits, the outliers on the high end that really drive a lot of your traffic, right? And so just stay consistent, post every single day or as frequently as you possibly can. And basically everything you post is like a mini lottery ticket to going viral. So just stay consistent with it. And the reason I like it, it's scalable authority that works 24/7, right? I have videos on my YouTube channel that I posted months ago that are still getting me views. They're still driving traffic to, my community. They're still getting me clients and things like that. And so builds on itself over time. It really compounds. The more visibility you have, the more followers you have, the more engagement you have, the more you get seen like an expert, the more you establish your, expert positioning and your authority. And the more that people want to work with you because they think, oh, this person has done it. There's a reason why they have so many followers or so much engagement on their channel. channel. Pros: premium positioning and rate justification. So along with what I was just saying, like the people who come to me from my YouTube channel are the most qualified buyers, right? YouTube is like the most valuable platform you can have your content on. They come to you because they see your content, they think it works, you've established yourself as an expert, and now you can say, and they usually come to you, like I've had clients come to me, they said, hey, I saw your LinkedIn automation. Can you build that for me and customize it this way? And I say, yeah, but it's going to cost you this much. And I get very little pushback for the rates that I charge because they've already seen what I can do. They've already seen that the systems work. They see that I've established myself as an expert, and they say, well, this guy, I'd rather pay this guy a little bit more because I know I'm getting something that works than paying this guy a little bit less for something that may or may not work, right? You will pay for results every single time if you're bringing on real clients, and the more premium clients are willing to pay more to get positive results. Relationship building at scale. I've talked about this before. It takes a client on average spending 7 hours with you before they convert. So this is why social media is so powerful, because you can get to them on YouTube, and then maybe they see you on Instagram, and then maybe they see you on TikTok, and then they check out your LinkedIn, and now they're just spending that much more time with you, and you actually haven't had any sort of interaction with them at all. They've basically just seen your content, and your content is building your relationship for you without you having to do anything else. And what's great about this is I don't just have to have one-on-one attention with a client. I can have thousands of potential clients out there building relationships with me at any given time. Market intelligence and service development. There's a couple things in here. One thing is the algorithm, right? The algorithm's entire job on social media is to show your content to the right people. So the algorithm is actually qualifying the clients for you. They're saying, oh, this person is interested in this type of work. We should put them together. So they're doing the matchmaking for you. You don't even have to worry about that. Market intelligence and service development, like the comments for YouTube videos or really any of your social media content, they don't even have to be for your own channels, are an absolute goldmine when it comes to figuring out what problems to solve or what people want you to build. They will literally say, hey, I need an automation that does this thing. And like, they'll just tell you straight up. So like basically go through your comments or the comments on other channels and see what people are asking for and then go build it. Some of the cons, it for sure takes a lot of time to build up your social media. Like I said, I posted for 3 months before I saw anything. And so it does take a lot of time. Consistency is really, really key. It is absolutely not no work, but I think the rewards for it are so much greater than anything else. I think it is to me, it is the number one way to grow your business, even though it takes time. And until you've actually built some client builds, it's really hard to establish yourself on social media, but start early, stay consistent, and it is absolutely worth it. I promise you. Visibility creates vulnerability. I like this one. So this kind of goes back to, being rejected on Upwork. The internet is the internet, whether it's Reddit, whether it's YouTube, whatever, like the internet has trolls all over the place. You will for sure get some hate messages. You're putting yourself out there. You spend a lot of time on a video. You hope it performs well, and then it doesn't. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast. That's the reality of it. And like, it sucks when your content doesn't perform well and it doesn't get you clients and it doesn't get you enough leads and you spend a lot of time on it. And so you start feeling bad about yourself, but you just got to go on and move on to the next one. And if you do have trolls, I always say, like, if you have haters, you've made it. If people care enough about you to throw some hate on it, all right, great. That's more engagement for you. Shake it off, whatever. There's plenty of people who are going to like what you're doing. Platform dependency and control issues. The algorithm is the algorithm. You have no control over it. You can put out what you think is the best video ever, and it's going to totally flop for any number of reasons. There are plenty of ways where you just don't have control over success in these areas, and you kind of just have to live with it. There is always the quality versus quantity debate. So should I be posting every single day? Should I just be pumping out a huge volume of content? Do I really want to be scripted and researched and outlined and all of these things to create the most high quality posts that I can? And I think there's, two schools of thought. I think, quantity in social media to me is kind of the name of the game. Like I said, every video is a mini lottery ticket to going viral. So the more you can post, the more chances you have to go viral and reach a bigger audience. That being said, if your content sucks, people aren't going to watch it and the algorithm will suppress your content. So it's definitely trade-offs, but this kind of ties into, visibility creates vulnerability. Like if you spend a lot of time creating what you think is a really quality video and it doesn't perform well, that's going to leave you feeling a certain type of way and you might be more reluctant to get started on the next one. And then from there are definitely some conversion challenges when it comes to social media. And so you have to figure out, like, we call it the funnel in marketing. What is your funnel? How do you get people from your social media accounts to whatever it is that you're selling? Are you telling them directly to book a call? Are you sending them to a landing page? Are you trying to get them to go to your Instagram to DM you there? And so there is like a little bit of a gap between, showing the content to someone and them actually getting in touch with you and becoming a client. For me, a lot of people have found me on YouTube and then they go to my LinkedIn LinkedIn. They see I'm a real person, that I'm legit, that I have like a really good work history, and then they kind of message me through there. And so that's one way you can do it. But thinking about the funnel for developing your business is really, really important. I think social media is the most valuable platform to attract high quality inbound leads. And if you want to do this at scale, you can establish yourself as an expert on the most professional platform that exists, which is LinkedIn. And I've built an automation that would help you do that. So check out this video up here where I show you exactly how to automate all of your LinkedIn content. I'll see you over there.